the presentation. We are going to start recording it this time. All right, and today we have Dr. Stephanie Martinez with us. We are so excited that she could be here and bring a wealth of knowledge and expertise. She is a technical assistant specialist with Florida's project, Positive Behavioral Interventions and Supports Project. So I am very excited and honored to welcome Dr. Stephanie Martinez with us, and I'm going to let her take over.
Thank you, Crystal. I'm really excited about having the timer on there to keep me on track, so I appreciate it. One of the things I will say is that I hope to make this interactive, so I do have some opportunities to share and talk amongst us today. So I just hope that you take advantage of that using the chat box, and when you feel comfortable unmuting yourself and sharing. Behavior definitions and levels are, I think, one of the hardest things for schools to come to consistency with, but so important, especially when we have our students that are in secondary schools that have anywhere from 5 to 8 different teachers, and making sure that they're all on the same page with understanding and applying the definitions of behavior, but also so the kids understand what those are, and there's that consistency across staff. So here's our objective today. First, we're going to really talk about contextually appropriate procedures for classroom and office managed behaviors, and then defining what those look like with our stakeholders. And so just to let you know, with our stakeholders, we want to talk about school staff, so administration, counselors, teachers, other support staff, anybody that interacts with students that might identify when there's a behavior issue, but also students themselves and getting students involved with what that looks like, but also our family and community members, so that we're all on the same page with that. So just kind of want to set that stage for what we mean by stakeholders here. So the first thing I'm going to have you think about is using the word tardy. So if you think of the word tardy, how would you define that word? And I want you to use the chat box. And to give you a context, we're talking about high school. So how would you define tardy? And if you'd prefer to unmute yourself, you're welcome to do that too. And not being in the classroom by the bell, came in after the bell, late arrival, late to class, arriving late to class after the bell, not in the room when the bell rings, arriving late to class, arrival after established time, arrival after the bell. I like Aubrey said, to find it a little bit more by saying perhaps less than 15 minutes late for class for school might mean later than that. After the tardy bell, late arrival to any scheduled activity. So one of the things that we're going to talk about is that mutually exclusive and observable and measurable. I've seen teams really debate what tardy looks like. So I'm going to give you a couple of different examples of when we think about tardy. So I've seen a lot of the definitions in there, and I would say one of the things we want to make sure is that they're observable, measurable. So if the student is running down the hallway and the teacher's at their door watching the kids come to their class, and the bell rings and Karen is running, she's not quite in the room, but she's running and she's attempting to make it on time, would you be considered tardy? Would you consider that tardy? So something to think about. Here's another different situation. Maya is standing at my door and the bell rings and she's got 1 foot in the classroom, but 1 foot outside the classroom. Would you consider her tardy? Here's another situation. You have a student who shows up, you have a 50-minute period, so give you that context too. It's not one of those extended block periods. It's a 50-minute period and Crystal shows up 30 minutes after the bell rings. Is she tardy or has she been skipping at that point? Would you consider her tardy? And then the last one, Stephen is a very strict teacher. And in his classroom, to be considered on time, not only do you have to be in the classroom, but you have to be at your desk with your book open, your paper and pencil, and doing the bell work. If you're in the room, but you're not at your desk and you're not doing the bell work, he considers you tardy. So I gave you a couple different examples. How did I know you're strict? Of course, Stephen, I know you're strict. So I've given you a couple of different examples, and those are real life situations that our students come across in secondary schools all the time. And then depending upon the staff, some will say that Karen who's running down the hall, well, some will say, yeah, she's on time. She was attempting. Others will be like, no, she wasn't in the classroom. Some would say, Maya, nope, she's not on time because she's got 1 foot out the door, 1 foot in the classroom. And then Crystal with 30 minutes late, some would say she was on time or she was tardy. Others would be like, okay, it's a 50-minute class and she showed up 30 minutes out of 50. She's missed more than 50% of the instructional time. She's actually skipping. So for consistency's sake, that's hard for kids when we're that inconsistent from teacher to teacher. And then layer on top of it, because we are all humans, we all have good days and we all have bad days. So 90% of the time I see Karen running down the hallway and I'm like, yeah, she's considered on time. Well, you know what? I didn't have my coffee this morning. I got a speeding ticket. I got yelled at by administration because my grades weren't done on time. And I'm just like already frustrated. So here's Karen for the 50th time running down the hallway trying to get to my class on time. And you know what? She's tardy today. And Karen's like, but you said I was on time yesterday and I did the same thing. So just on here, you see some considerations. When we think about tardy, we need to come to a consensus in this specific behavior situation of what that looks like. One of the other things to consider is at what point does tardy be something that the teacher handles in the classroom versus is it something that's sent to the office and the administrator has to give a consequence? And there could be 2 different definitions for tardy. There could be one that's teacher handled, and then there's one that is office handled, and we need to clearly define that. Worked with a school, and there's a school that actually defined tardy as not having both feet in the classroom door when the bell rang. And they were consistent. It was observable, it was measurable. You could tell. Karen, nope, both feet weren't in the door. Maya, nope, both feet were in the door. Crystal, nope, both feet weren't in the door when the bell rang. So for that consistency's sake, for our staff, our students, and also our families, having that very concrete, observable, measurable definition. So if I have a middle school student myself, if I were to get a referral for tardy or text or a phone call or something that my child was tardy from class, and I knew both feet had to be in the door and the bell rang, when my son came home, I could say, were both feet in your door when the bell rang? And he would be like, no, I was running down the hallway. Then you weren't on time. So as a parent, then I also can reinforce and understand what that definition is. So go a little bit more in depth. And I mentioned we want to consider with all problem behaviors and not just tardy, but all of them, whether it's tardy, it's cell phone violation, dress code violation, profanity use, disruption, defiance, who handles it and where is it being handled? So we use the terms teacher managed. So those are things that are more minor levels that the teacher handles in the classroom. They use their classroom management interventions and strategies to address the behavior. Our office managed behaviors are those that are handled by administration. That's something that should not be handled by the teacher. Now here it gets a little tricky because you'll have some behaviors like maybe tardy or disruption or disrespect or insubordination, which are very vague and subjective. And so you might find that you have to define what is disruptive behavior that's handled by the teacher versus what's disruptive behavior handled by the office. So you have to make the distinction. Then we have that last column that's called crisis incidents. So crisis incidents, I like to think about that as something that is an immediate response by administration, not we'll get there when we can, or we'll be there in 5 minutes. No, it's something that Georgia is my principal or AP, and she needs to be down here like immediately. And there may be situations like disruption where it's teacher managed, office managed, in a crisis situation where the student maybe is escalated to a point where we have to have them removed immediately and it's a safety concern. So those are things that we want to decide. So we may have three different behavior or three different definitions for one behavior, depending upon who handles it. So if we think back to tardy, that's the example I gave at the beginning, where do people think tardy fits in? Would that be something that's teacher managed, office managed, or crisis managed? Or could it be all three or all two? So definitely use a chat box, unmute. Okay, teacher, I'm seeing some teacher managed. Bunch of teacher managed. Teacher and office, says Jonathan. Ooh, Karen, I like that. Teacher until it becomes chronic. Catherine says teacher after so many tardies and admin should handle it. Teacher and office. And I think probably who people are saying teacher and office are probably saying the same thing after it's become a repetitive. So then if we're saying both teacher and office managed, which I'm seeing some mixture of, and we say it's after chronic, we need to define what that is. So is it 3 times being tardy within a week, 2 weeks? Is it the length of time? So 3 times or more and they're late more than 10 minutes out of a 50-minute period. So just being very observable and measurable for it. And then here's the caveat too. Does that time reset? So for example, I'm going to pick on Crystal again because she was the one that was 30 minutes late. So Crystal was 30 minutes late today to my class. I intervened. I gave her an intervention. Today is October 23rd. She's not late again to my class until January 10th. And this point, she's only 2 minutes late. So that's her second time. Our school is after 3 times. So there's 3 times, the 4th time you go to the office. I do something. She gets it. She understands. Now, her 3rd time of being tardy to class is February 15th. Okay, that's her 3rd time. This time she was only a couple minutes late. So it's her 3rd time. She's again tardy in April by 3 minutes. Now it's 3 times, and policy says after 3 times on her 4th incident, she can go to the office. But as the classroom teacher, I've also done an intervention after each one of those times to address her tardy, and it has ceased the behavior for weeks at a time. At that point, do I send her to the office? Or does it reset? So just some things to kind of think about when it's a behavior, whether it's tardy, disruption, disrespect. If we're doing that chronic behavior, is there a time where it resets? The other thing I want to point you to on the left-hand side, it talks about making sure to look at the student code of conduct or handbook. If your district really does define in your student code of conduct or handbook what these definitions look like, you need to go by those first. But I find sometimes, even if the district has those definitions, you might need to clarify it by giving some examples and non-examples of what that looks like. So for example, I worked with a school district and their behavior for disrespect, they had a 4-level system. 1 was minor, 4 was severe behavior. And level 1 had a definition. And then level 2 said just more severe than level 1. I don't know what that means. And then when you looked at that level 3, it said more severe than level 1 and level 2. Going back to my example with not having coffee and stuff, Maya could do something today that is disruptive. And I'm like, oh, that's a level 1. I haven't had my coffee. I had my speeding ticket, got yelled at. She does the same thing today. I'm making that a level 3 because it's not clearly defined. So sometimes those are really good resources to look at and to build from, but you might need to clarify and give some more concrete examples. So just a couple other things. I already mentioned this, but I'm just going to stress it one more time. Having good, clear definitions. And when we say mutually exclusive, that if I observe a behavior from Georgia, I can tell whether it's disrespect or defiance because I've got a clear definition. If I look at the definitions and I go, ooh, it could be disrespect or ooh, it could be defiance, then it's not mutually exclusive. And so you'll find some of those terms, it's really hard to define between what's disrespectful, disruption, defiance. So just making sure that we have that. And then again, examples of what the behavior categories look like on your campus. So I know we've got elementary here, we've got middle and high school. So what a technology violation is going to look like for an elementary school student is probably going to be very different than a high school student. So taking into that context of the age appropriateness of your students and the developmental age of what that would look like. So just a prerequisite. In the middle of this graphic is a flow chart. We're not talking about the day, that's me future down the road. But in order to have a really good discipline flow chart, we have to have those definitions. So again, just clarifying. So one of the things I mentioned, it was about stakeholder and getting stakeholder feedback on it. So if you look here at the very top, this is just a definition of disrespect from a student code of conduct from Florida. It's a sample one. It does be very concrete, but we sometimes might need to get some examples. So if you go to the next part, Crystal, it should be an animation. There you go. So this school went back and asked for examples from family and staff and students of what disrespect would look like in the classroom versus disrespect that should be referred to the office. So here's just some examples of that. So thinking aloud, just brainstorming some ideas, and you may not have an answer, and that's okay. How do you think you could go about getting some input from, say, students on the word and definition for tardy? We'll put that in the chat box. Oh, Karen suggests role playing what it looks like. That's one way to get some feedback. Oh, I like that, doing a restorative circle and getting the students and listening circles to get the students to define what tardy would look like. Oh, I like that, James. Going to the ones that are most consistently tardy and seeing what that looks like. You could also go find students who are always on time and ask them what it means to be on time. Oh, Google Forms. That's another good way. Polling on social media or other communication platforms. We actually had a school that kind of did that, but they made it a forced choice poll so they could easily monitor it. Strategy circles. Okay, those are some great ways to get. So going back and finding out, you could do focus groups with students. You could give them some of those different scenarios. Oh, I was going to say the same thing, Jonathan. The different scenarios that I gave you and ask them would they consider that to be tardy or not tardy. Here's the pretty cool thing. All the stuff that you guys pretty much mentioned that you could do for students, you could also do for staff and you could also do for families. So just thinking about some different ways to do that. One of the things that I would do is just like what we did here, gave the definition of disrespect and then said, okay, what are some examples of when it should be handled in the classroom and when it should be handled in the office? You could even do examples and non-examples. What are some examples of being tardy? What's some non-examples of being tardy? And then what's pretty cool is once you have those definitions, you could then use your students to develop some teaching, some role plays and situations and practice and videos around it. Or the next one, Crystal? Okay, so here is an activity that you can do that you can build with your staff. And I believe you're going to have access to these. And so what it does is just the first one, the little one on the right-hand side, it says disciplinary infraction. You would identify the behavior. I would suggest a behavior that's really common on your campus and also one that is kind of subjective, like disruption here. Then coming up with a definition of what it looks like that is classroom managed, office managed, and then if it is crisis, and then giving some specific examples. So tardy for me, 1 foot in the door, 1 foot out the door. That would be tardy. Running down the hallway would be tardy. If you wanted, you could actually do it for being on time instead of on tardy if you wanted, and you could do both. Then from there, coming up with some different ideas, which we just brainstormed on the other sheet for getting that feedback. One of the things that we sometimes do is actually take this activity, and this is a great way to get feedback for multiple behaviors from staff. We have a staff meeting. The disciplinary infractions that are top at our campus are tardy, technology violation, dress code, and disruption. Give small groups of tables the opportunity to define these. Or you could do as a whole faculty and have small groups or a PLC. Everybody defines the same behavior. You can collect them and then see what some commonalities are. So that's another way to get some really good feedback from individuals and using this as an activity that you can go beyond just your PBIS team. So we have about 15 seconds left. And here's some discussion questions I put up there. You probably can't answer these today, but these are things I want you to think about. You can bring back to your team and think about it. How are the behaviors defined in your student code of conduct? And are they teacher managed, defined, and office managed? Are they observable, measurable, and mutually exclusive? Which behaviors are very subjective? We already talked about getting stakeholder feedback on some different ideas and activities. Take that back to your team and think of some more. And then what ideas and suggestions do you have for defining behaviors? So what are some different ways you can go about having your team look at those? So just some more discussion questions for you to think about. My time is up, so I'm going to pause and turn it back over to Crystal.
All right. At this time, we are going to stop recording and just have a few minutes for people to ask questions.